Who did? Who did these?
We got most of the pictures from the Mansfield destination.
Yeah.
And then
Spider signs,
fighter signs.
but the pictures came from Lee, I think nearly all of them.
Okay, we are at 9:30 on the 5th of September, and I'm Darrell Banks, Commissioner, with fellow Commissioner Tony Vero, yeah, seen him for a while. Stacy Crawl, our clerk, and Andrew Keller, our administrator. And from mental health, we have Joe Trillian and Sherry Branham. On here with us is Greg from WMFD, News Journal with Al Lawrence, and from Richland Source, we have Carl Hunnels. We are in session. And Joe, would you like to address us about this month being month of recovery?
Yes, September, we are once again having our recovery month. It's something that's celebrated nationally. We here locally are carrying the theme of local help for local hope. Doing more and more to try to make sure people are able to access services locally when they need them. This is a month where we tend to celebrate recovery. We started off, we did a kickoff at the new Jericho Wall, even though it was somewhat of a somber event because we're adding names of people that we've lost to addiction. But truly the fact that we had probably 250 people that turned out for the groundbreaking for this wall was amazing. And it showed the level of support this community has for these recovery services. But you have in front of you a calendar of events, a couple of them that I want to point out. Coming up this Thursday, September 7th, Catalyst Life Services will be doing their second annual recovery event. They're actually going to have a dunk tank and some food and things like that. It's going to run 4 to 7, and then they'll follow it at 7 o'clock with an alumni lead meeting. The other big event that I want to point out, or September 9th, we have our second annual Mansfield Area Recovery Picnic. Really love this event. This was actually started by Mike Sizemore, who works in our office. He saw a need that he wanted to do something to give back to the community. And so he worked with one of our board members. He works with DLX on trying to bring an event together. Last year, we had a couple of leads that came down and gave some testimony, but this year we've actually got some live music and some different things for people to come out. Starting at 11 o'clock, it's going to run till about 1. So we're encouraging people to come out, bring your lawn chairs, bring food. Dan from DLX is actually going to have some food there if you want to purchase it. But it'll be a nice event where people can come out and just spend a nice afternoon. And hopefully the weather, the way it's been the last couple of weekends, we'll see something good this weekend as well. On September 28th, we're pretty excited. Last year we sponsored Kevin Hines coming in to talk to us. He's the gentleman that survived jumping from the Golden Gate Bridge. He realized it was a gift that he survived, and so he has spent his life now speaking, motivating, and trying to get people to look for other options than trying to take their own life. Richland County, we have seen skyrocketing suicide numbers coming down, but last year we peaked at 31, and that's the highest we have ever seen in this county for as long as I've been in this field. We are going to do a free event for the community from 5:30 to 8 on September 28th at the Mansfield Playhouse, where we're working with 33 Forever and NAMI to air his documentary. We initially planned to do that last year, but once he heard what was going on in Richland County, he said, "No, I want to come and talk." So we actually got him to come in and speak personally. But he has a documentary out that talks about just the work that he's done to, following his suicide attempt, to get legislation changed to actually put safety nets around the Golden Gate Bridge, something that they thought, well, aesthetically it wasn't pleasing, but yet they had the highest rate of suicide for any single location in this country. and couldn't see past the aesthetics. Well, he worked with a lot of legislators, took a lot of time, probably close to 20 years, but they're finally installing safety nets and higher fences along the edge of the Golden Gate Bridge, hoping to deter some people from making that final decision. So it's a great event. We're going to offer food and drink for free for people who come in. Playhouse seats probably about 300, so hopefully we'll pack it. We had about 250 that came out for the event last year. And then I'm trying to think if there's anything else. We do have September 23rd. Healing Hearts is doing Rocking the Recovery again. So this will be another event that they're doing for their second time, and that'll be from 9:30 to 12:30. There's lots of events. I encourage people, as always, check back on the calendar. We tend to have events that one group will go, oh, we forgot to tell you about this, and we'll promote it and we'll try to get it out there. We like the idea that people can get out during Recovery Month, have some entertainment, have some family time, some camaraderie, some social time, and it doesn't necessarily have to involve alcohol. Any questions?
Any questions, Al? Carl?
Yeah, Joe, I was just looking at your calendar of events. I didn't see the stuff at the presentation at the Playhouse. Is that on your website somewhere at this point? I didn't see it on the calendar unless I'm missing it.
It's probably the last event on the calendar. I mean, I've got it on the calendar here in front of me. So we'll get you a copy of this if
Next to last.
you can go into the,
Okay, yep. You know what? There I see it. September 28th,
September
5:30 to 8 p.m.
yep. That's
If
our
it had been a-
closeout event.
If it had been a snake, it would have bit me. That's how close I was to it. But
All right.
you talked about suicides being the highest that you've seen in your tenure. How many did you said there were 31 last year?
Last year, the year before last, we had 24, which was a new record. We had the highest we had been prior to that was 23. For 2022, we actually hit 31. This year, we are probably on track at the moment. We're seeing about 2 a month. So we are on track again, probably to hit about 24. We are probably doing more educational presentations. We've bolstered services in the schools. We're working with human resources and really trying to figure any potential angle. But it seems like every time we target where we think the problem is, it shifts. So, I mean, our age group this year is probably, it's interesting because it was 18 to 21 and then leaped to 75 and older. And for the first few months, we weren't seeing anything in the working class population, which was the bulk of what we saw the year before. So we are continuing trying to get as much information out because bottom line, suicide prevention, it's not done by the professionals. Really done by the community, knowing what to look for and being able to ask some pretty heavy questions. So we're doing what we can to get our trainings out that train people on just being able to say, are you thinking about killing yourself?
And when you as you look at these suicides, is there any common theme or reasons that people might leave behind as to why they're doing it? I mean, is it illness? Is it stress? I mean, are you seeing any common themes at all among the people who make that decision?
It varies, honestly, and it's granted, it's not necessarily a theme that I'm seeing, but what I'm seeing when I talk to people, people are exhausted. We've had a rough few years, whether it was COVID lockdowns, whether it was people retiring early, people getting medical treatment that they felt like, well, you know, to even go in and see my doctor, I got to suit up and I really don't have that human contact. Things have moved to more teleservices. No offense, you guys not being here. But we really are losing human contact. In fact, the Surgeon General published a report that the new epidemic that we're dealing with is loneliness and isolation. So we're doing what we can to make sure that services we're providing, people are getting those face-to-face. So we are not relying or creating programs that are strictly teleservices. We want people in face-to-face and at least getting that human contact once in a while. We are social beings and it's something that everybody needs. And it's what's been lacking. I mean, if I have to look at something that's not been there for the last 4 or 5 years when we've seen this spike, that's been it. People just aren't socializing like they used to.
Well, it's tough when Tony's there. I like to come face to face when Tony's in Ireland. It makes it a lot easier to attend the meetings, but
I understand.
But last I looked, Carl, Sam Hartman just threw another touchdown pass. So
you know, and what is he, 40 now? That's a whole nother story. That's what I needed. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Sherry.
You're welcome.
Joe, if we did think someone was having difficulty and possibly a suicide, what's the best thing to do?
Best thing to do, what I use is call 522 help. We've had a hotline in this county since 1984. 988 is being promoted. My concern is if it gets to the point where we need to send somebody out to have that human contact because they're that much in crisis, 988 is going to contact 522 help because that's where we dispatch the mobile team from. So I'm encouraging people until 988 has all the bells and whistles that they need. It's a great service. I was one of the first people that was celebrating when they said 988's coming on board, but they rushed a few things, didn't have all the pieces, parts in place that needed to be there. So we're encouraging people to just continue to use the 522 help line to get that local help for local hope. And that way we can continue to get them the help they need. And as soon as 988 is ready, I will be the first one to be standing from the rooftop saying, call.
Thank you.
Just a quick note on the event that DLX will be providing food. That's a pre-order for lunch. Pops lunches that Dan is putting together, but he asked for pre-order. He'll probably have some that's available, but it is a pre-order lunch.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. Well, we, the commissioners, have signed a proclamation. I'm going to skip some of the whereases. And
I give you plenty.
with the help, the Richland County Recovery Month, Local Hope and Local Recovery. With the help of the Community Action for Capable Youth, Mansfield, UMADOP, the National Alliance on Mental Health Illness, and 33 Forever, a concentrated effort has been made to provide education and prevention services to adults in the community and the youth in the schools, strengthening resilience, awareness to signs and symptoms of illness and how to seek help. There's been 6,500 residents annually through Helpline and Warmline that have been helped. The homeless response, which is a relatively new has helped, has had 400 contacted with over 400 people. Behavioral health urgent care at Catalyst Life Service continues to serve an average of 90 people a month, 70 people a month. And the implementation of the mobile response stabilization service by Family Life Counseling and Psychiatric Services are helping residents and youth can now access crisis services in their home or the other convenient community settings. And the treatment services were provided by over 7,500 Richland County residents during fiscal year 2023. These services have assisted many individuals to return to work and repair relationships. And because of the good job that you have done, and the Richland County Recovery Month calls upon the citizens of government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools in Richland County to commit our community to increasing awareness and understanding of behavioral health and the steps of our citizens can take to live healthier lives, and the need for appropriate and accessible services for all people with mental illness and substance use disorders. And on behalf of all three of the commissioners,
You're welcome.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Guys, see you later.
Good to meet you. Bye.
Well, next on the agenda is to award CCTV project and who's all coming forward?
At night.
That's fine. And let the record show that we've been joined by County Engineer Adam Grove, and Sherry's here too. Mr. Hill and Mr. Keller are going to present us all the homework.
Welcome back, Tony.
Oh, if my computer was working today, I'd say the same, but
Now, that's all I can say. Where do we start?
no before training.
I reset. You have to do it again.
Yeah, nice try.
The RFP, was it?
Yes. We only had two people, two companies, Schmidt Security and Corson. After going through everything, Sherry and I kind of went through everything that was offered by both companies. Honestly, Schmidt's was the more complete. Pricing was slightly better. And so we've decided to award it to Schmidt Security.
You're recommending we
We're recommending, yes, sorry, Daryl, yes. We're recommending Schmidt.
For reference, this was an RFP that was published in late May, I believe.
Yeah, May
This year?
through beginning of June.
Yes, and it went
Mid-June.
through, it ran for a month into June and we've taken some time for IT to do their due diligence on the evaluation process and ranking process. Matt's done a great job. We've done that. And that's the contract to Schmidt as being the most advantageous.
Okay,
So Matt,
a motion?
just real quick, I had talking to Andrew beforehand. This is for the cameras and the access controls.
That is correct, yes.
And then as part of the project, we had previously approved, Andrew had forwarded that. We also approved the Lake Erie tools, material and labor for the door emergency power. Is that correct?
Correct.
So we're at about 961 approved to date. I show outstanding. We have the printers for the badges and fobs, and then the server cost to go with all that. Is that what's
Correct.
outstanding?
Yeah, we have not, I'm working with Dell on getting the servers configured how we want them. That is state pricing.
Okay.
The badges and fobs will go through Schmidt. Really have not talked a whole lot to them about that because waiting on that portion of it. The printer will probably come through CDW with state pricing on that as well. So just there's some things that I have to do, but the project is still, I mean, awarded today. We're still months from it really starting because they have to order everything, pretty much cameras and equipment, stuff like that. So we're probably a couple months out from it actually starting. So just waiting on a few little details from those other three vendors and then seeing what Schmidt can come up with pricing for the badges and the fobs.
Okay.
So obviously the badges and the fobs are not in here.
No, they are not. No, we kind of sat on that one because not every system is the same and some of the badges and fobs aren't, like I can't order them before we get the system.
Okay.
Because just some things are not part of that.
Okay.
So, yeah, so a little bit out on just that little part, but I'll get in contact with Schmidt, get that stuff going.
We're expecting to get the signed contract documents from Schmidt as soon as today.
Mhm.
So there's nothing for the commissioners to sign at this moment in time.
Okay,
Motion to approve.
second,
Commissioner Banks?
yes.
Rivera?
Yes.
Then you also have to approve the notice of award.
Motion.
Second,
It's a notice of award for ARPA expenditures for this project. Commissioner Banks?
yes.
Commissioner Barrow?
Yes.
Okay,
Questions?
Yeah, I've got a couple. Since we're at ARPA funds, were ARPA funds covering the whole cost of this?
Yes.
Okay. The other question is just kind of a reminder, how many buildings does this involve?
Six.
Buildings, Al.
Right, that's what I thought. Can you say which ones does it?
This building, Peoples, Prosecutor, Longview / Board of Elections. And they have to be bifurcated out, and then the dog warden.
Okay, and Schmitz is a local company, right?
Right up the
Correct.
road.
Yeah, okay. Just want to double check to make sure. That's all I had.
Carl,
Yeah, this particular portion, the cameras and access controls, what's the dollar amount that's going to be going to Schmidt for this?
938, 351.51.
And that's a 3-year contract. Initial term.
Okay, let me read that number back just to make sure. 938,351.51
Yep.
3-year contract. And this is to install cameras and access controls in the 6 aforementioned buildings.
And to provide services, yes.
When you say services, is this something that Schmidt will be responsible for monitoring and dealing with, or will this go straight to the sheriff's department if there's an issue, or?
It goes straight to the sheriff's office.
Okay, so Schmidt doesn't monitor, it's these responses go to the SO?
Correct.
How would you describe the services, Matt, that they are providing?
Most of it's, maintenance and on the actual equipment. There's also going to be, some of it is software related. So for us to monitor it, remotely, that system will send notifications to whoever needs to know. If there's an alarm or anything in a building, that kind of stuff. Most of this is cloud hosted, so there's no on-premise servers that we have to buy for the actual access control, and that's separate from the CCTV.
Okay, so and Andrew, you might be able to address this better. This is a 3-year contract at 938. If you do the math, that's about a little over $300,000 a year. You're going to pay for this with ARPA. How is that working when ARPA money has to be expended by the end of, geez, I forget what year I'm in, but certainly there's a time frame. And how will you pay? How will commissioners pay for it going forward once ARPA's done, if this is going to be an ongoing effort?
Right. Well, the vast majority of the cost is for the installation, and the equipment are also, and I can break that down for you. In other words, it's the total annual system support cost is $48,440. That's the portion of this that's ongoing, is $48,000 a year. The first year is included. So in years 2 and 3, yes, we're paying out $48,440. You mentioned the ARPA obligation and expenditure deadlines. That is implicated here, and that's the reason we have an initial term of 3 years. So this contract will conclude in 2026, which is the year that we're required to complete our expenditures. The obligation deadline under ARPA is December 31, 2024. So obviously, we're obligating this well in advance of the obligation deadline. So we're in compliance with both the obligation and expenditure requirements of ARPA, but it does take us into September of 2026.
Okay, that's what I needed. Thanks, guys.
Hey, I came up with an additional question. You're talking about some of this is software support. Will the software for the controls be compatible with the new software the sheriff's office is going to be getting?
They're two different things, Al. The I know what you're asking. That what the sheriff's is getting is a business control system. It's like the public version of SAP, Oracle, etc. We're talking two different things, Al.
Oh, okay. I thought we were still into the dispatch. That's all done then?
No, Tyler's work is ongoing. This is a separate project.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is these controls don't need to be integrated into the other stuff.
No,
Mhm.
Okay.
All right. I would entertain a motion that we,
I don't think we need any more
need
motion.
no motion, we got it all passed.
Yes.
Excellent.
Sorry, Darren.
Yes, it's all passed.
Okay.
So,
We awarded and we did the notice of award, so we're good.
So once we get the information we need from Schmidt,
Then we-
circulate.
then we have to sign it.
You're getting up there with sweat and hide your wallet.
That's not a compliment.
No. And Gove's not far behind.
Actually, I thought I was behind Gove, so
Well,
Give him a chance. He's up next.
yeah. He generally doesn't have as many zeros on his.
See, he just comes in and drips and drabs. You know, he'll occasionally comes in, Gove just comes in and tries to hide it.
Okay,
That's just part of it. He's not even done yet.
and he's been here before.
I know.
this is the most I've ever asked
What
for.
about, so McVicker doesn't count as IT then too? Because don't forget Tyler.
That's a whole other monster.
All right, Matt, thanks, bud.
Is that all you guys got for us?
That's all we got. We're
Appreciate it.
gonna bring the engineer forward.
Uh-oh. All right. Hopefully I didn't screw you over, Adam. That was not my intentions.
Just trying to buy a truck.
That's it.
I think I see,
I see a couple other things on here.
yeah. Right on up there, Adam.
Thanks, guys.
Here in Christina. Take the heat.
Yeah, it should be working now, as soon as the control gauge look back.
Okay.
Daryl, since we have like 2 minutes before he goes on, I'll make a motion to approve requisitions.
I'll second it.
Fairbanks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero.
Yes. Question on the resolution too, Stacy. It says year 2023, by the way, for the tax resolution.
That's
In it for next year?
the auditor's form, so yes, it should be. Because we are setting it for 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve with the amendment for 2024.
Second that.
Are you sure about that? Because they're just getting ready to start the 23.
No, we approve. This
But
is
it's for collection.
for collection of next year's levies.
I'll verify.
Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
skip that then.
Do you not want to vote on it?
Now we'll vote on it and see if we need to do another one. Trying to, we have an 11 o'clock ribbon cutting.
Commissioner Banks.
Here.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes,
we'll verify to make sure we have the right date.
at the new restaurant at the hotel at 11.
Okay, you wanna? Got time for one more.
Motion to approve the fair housing agreement with the city of Mansfield.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes. We still got time?
Yep.
Motion to approve the lease agreement with the Metropolitan Regional Service Council.
Second.
That's at Longview and it used to be NCOC.
Right,
So Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero.
yes.
Okay, it's 10 o'clock. Adam, you're up.
Okay. First item I believe on the agenda was a request to purchase a new Volvo tandem axle dump truck. This is just the cab and chassis. The equipment to go on it will come at a later date. This is going to be purchased through the state of Ohio equipment contract. The total cost for the cab and chassis is $139,111. It will be made from the auto license and gas tax budget. I usually put as originally appropriated to the equipment line item. I am going to have to move a little bit of money around to put it into the equipment line item because this wasn't supposed to be something that would be ready until next year. They did contact us, said they had a truck available that we would be interested in, and that's kind of why we are looking at it now.
And are we replacing one
So
or?
we will replace an older, I believe it's a 2000 Sterling tandem axle dump truck. It won't be replaced yet. Wait until probably next spring after we go through another round of using it for our brine application over the winter.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero.
Yes.
Second on the list is maintenance, ditch maintenance funds that need to recertify the maintenance assessment being collected on parcels that are involved in those subdivisions. So as you may be aware, there were some complaints in Dogwood about the mowing of one of the retention basins over the summer. That started a deep dive into our maintenance funds, and some issues arose. We found out maybe there wasn't as much being collected on certain subdivisions as we originally thought. So we are needing to recertify those maintenance funds on two of the subdivisions, the first being that Dogwood Estates, and the second being Altman Heights. Dogwood Estates is out in Mifflin Township, and Altman Heights is in Madison. We do have 10 subdivisions set up for maintenance fund collection. They were collected starting in the late 90s. They eventually fall off. They don't collect those after so many years. And these are two that we have done maintenance on in the past, mowing and repairs. Those funds have dwindled to the point where we don't have enough to do those annual maintenance items. So we need to reassess.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero.
Yeah. That's all you have.
Those are the two items I have this morning.
Well, while Mr. Gove is here, do either of you have any questions for him? Or on things that we've already approved? Let's do the Adam things first.
All right, if I could, Adam, what year Volvo tandem axle dumped it? 2024?
Correct, yes.
And what's the make model, or how would you best describe that? I've looked at the VHD 300AF or the 300AB, or
You're pretty close. VHD 64 F300.
Now, these dump trucks, are these pretty much when it comes, like the workhorse for you guys? They do snow plowing, they do salting, they can carry things around. How would you characterize what these trucks do for your department?
Yeah, so they are used pretty much on a daily basis, whether it's hauling materials, asphalt, stone, dirt. And then in the winter, they're used for plowing and ice control, faulting.
And this was something you said you thought you were going to buy next year, but it's become available. Does this come through a particular dealership since it's state equipment, or does it come directly from the manufacturer?
It does come from a dealer that was submitted to the state contract. This particular one is Fremont Volvo Trucks and Service.
Okay, that's what I had. Thank you.
Anything from Al before we,
Yeah. Adam, how does that assessment work? Do you assess for work that has been done, or do you assess for a certain amount, or?
So we are going to assess according to the original assessment schedule for these that were set up back in the Dogwood was the late 90s. I think Altman Heights was the early 2000s. It's collected so with that we have maintenance fund to draw from. You are only supposed to collect up to 20% of the original construction cost. And so once it hits that point, you have to stop collecting that assessment. And then until you use funds and can re-certify the assessment.
Okay, now when you talking about construction, you're talking about the particular ditch or facility that you're maintaining?
Correct. Yeah, they're each associated with a retention basin in the subdivision that's part of our stormwater regulations when there is a new subdivision built inside the county. So it's originally set up. The developer builds the basin. There's a cost associated with that basin. And then that's how you figure the schedule of assessments for the maintenance fund.
And so this is something that is a straight commissioner's decision to do then.
Correct. Yeah, it was originally they would have hearings. So these were approved at hearings back in like I said, when these were first developed, late 90s, early 2000s. And this is just recertifying the collection of those assessments.
Do you have any kind of figure on what kind of average assessment per property or?
Yeah, so on these two, Altman Heights is made up of 11 parcels. The typical maintenance collected annually will be $30.72. Of those parcels is split. It's a condo, so it's split 4 ways. So it's that 3072 is divided by 4. And then on Dogwood, there are 10 parcels that will be assessed an annual maintenance amount of $67.81.
That's a lot less than I thought it would be. That's all I had. Thank you.
Yep.
Adam, you also are asking for a it's for
The 90,
weight over dimension, of which it is both. This is for the Tucker Road Bridge, I assume,
Correct. Yeah.
for a 90-day permit from Dina.
Correct.
Can I get a motion to approve this permit?
So moved.
Second,
Commissioner Banks,
yes.
Commissioner Vera.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Adam.
Another piece of business is to authorize termination in a probationary personnel at Dayspring on the 25th of July, and during the month of August had 5 days called off and 2 days no call, no show. I make a motion that we terminate this employee.
Effective August 31, 2023. I'll second that.
Okay,
Commissioner Banks,
yes.
Commissioner Vera,
Yes.
Okay, any other business, any other questions?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Therefore,
Yeah.
at 10,
I'm good.
okay, thanks. At 10:10, we will call today's meeting.
recess.
Recess.
Oh, recess. We got something.
We have someone at 10:30.
Yes, okay. Recess. We'll be back in executive session at 10:30. I wasn't
Because I'm done in here.
Right.
Thank you.
Still got $1 left. Okay, it is 10:30 and can I get a motion to go into executive session to discuss some public employment?
So moved.
Second,
Commissioner Banks,
yes.
Commissioner Vero.
Yes.
Okay, we are back in session and nothing at this time. And we will adjourn.
Can I ask Tony a real quick question?
Yeah.
Hey, it was said you just came back from a trip to Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my daughter is in the middle of a trip to Ireland right now. But the question I had was, you are a politician. In light of the fact that, you're in public office, while you were in Ireland, do you have an opportunity to kiss the Blarney Stone? Well, keep going in and keep going in and out.
You did, Stacy's working on it. Yeah.
There we go. I kind of lost stuff. Did you answer me, Tony?
Yeah, I said I went up to the top, but I didn't kiss it, Al. There was just a lot, it was an hour and a half of waiting and it would have taken another half hour and we would have had all our time wasted on the grounds.
Oh,
You gotta
okay.
stand up, you gotta go upside.
Also, it's not what you think. You gotta like bend over backwards and like, it's a process.
Oh, yeah, I understand. I've got a picture of my son-in-law kissing the Blarney.
I didn't want mono either.
That's an amazing looking castle though,
Oh,
isn't it?
it was really cool and unique. Disney romanticizes castles. They aren't built to have people, they're built to keep people out and they are not inviting.
Yeah, I know. My daughter has sent some pictures back. so.
Austria. It's beautiful.
All right, I just wanted to give you a hard time about the Blarney.
All right.
That's it.
Okay, thank you all. We are done.
Thanks, Al.